With thunderstorm around this afternoon and evening, the high 82 to 86. Mostly cloudy tonight, low 67 to 71. There'll be a couple of showers and thunderstorms around late tonight into tomorrow morning, and some sunshine tomorrow afternoon, the high 78 to 82. Thursday, mostly sunny with lower humidity, high 76 to 80. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala.
Flying high, just a soul run wild. A growing man, but still a child. With you, baby, I try for you. Sort of rose and caught a thorn, but every day our love is born anew. So true. Baby, I try for you, trying hard to soothe your soul. Sadness you just can't control. There are things you'll never know, 'cause I can't talk to you. Picture frame broken on the floor.
Wow, that's really beautiful. Wow. That is Tim Sweeney. In case you thought maybe we changed format so we became a music station. No, but we do have Tim Sweeney on the phone. If you were impressed by that singing as I was, and I can see Robin is too.
Oh, I'm just lost in the song.
Also going to be impressed by the fact that the man singing is also the songwriter of that song. Tim Sweeney, in addition to that, he's an attorney. Which means that both sides of his brain work. I often am amazed by people who can be artistic and also have the logic skills that are necessary to be an attorney or an accountant or something that doesn't seem to be creative. Tim is a full-time caregiver also. Listen to this. His son, Timmy, has Down syndrome and autism. And I remember reading his biography. There was a connection that Tim discovered with Timmy regarding music and being able to maybe connect with his son. His songwriting talent is part of his special bond with his son, and we're going to find out about it. He's got a new CD called This Time. It is the debut CD that documents the special bond we're talking about. And just as a kind of an aside, Down Syndrome Awareness Month is either this month or next month. I can't remember. Let's find out from Tim Sweeney. Good morning, Tim.
Hi, how you doing?
Very good. Boy, you are awesome. Where are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Los Angeles.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you for getting up early. Well, you're in a good place if you've got that kind of talent. I mean, you don't look like you're from Los Angeles. I'm looking at your picture. You look like from, here.
I'm actually from central southern Illinois.
Illinois? Wow. Wow. That doesn't even look like Illinois to me. It looks like, the cowboy hat throws me.
Yeah.
Do they have cowboy hats in Illinois, Robin? Robin is from
yes,
Wisconsin.
Yes, they do.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you are... and just so you know, I'm a straight guy, but you're a good-looking guy. But I can tell good-looking guys. That's okay. I'm old enough to be able to say that. And wow, what a beautiful voice and wonderful songwriting style. What's the story behind that particular song?
Well, my son was also born premature 3 months, and so when he came home from the hospital after a few months, he had trouble falling asleep for like a number of years, and so I used to sing him to sleep. And I first started out with the song. Actually, the first song I sang to him was "Home on the Range," and then I started, after about 10,000 times of hearing that song, I started, drafting little melodies, and so I ended up writing all these songs in these sessions where I'd actually sing him to sleep.
Wow! And how old is he now?
He's 21 now.
21. Okay, I'm thinking a little child still. So does he still live at home? Does he still live with you guys?
Yes, he does. Yeah, he's he'll always live at home because of the nature and extent of his disability, but he has incredible talents as a human being. Well,
good for you. Robin and I have a friend who is 52 years old who has Down syndrome. I've known him since he was 11. And to his mother's credit, she kept him home all of her life. She recently passed away, but except for the last year when she was in a nursing home, he lived with her. Now he's my next door neighbor.
Yeah.
and he comes into the station all the time. He loves radio. So how how did you go from being an attorney to being a recording artist?
Wow, it was a little. It didn't start out to be that. I told somebody now. I go, I used to be an attorney, and they said that's like you used to be a felon.
Yeah, right.
But no, I was working in when he was about in third or fourth grade in public school. He was having difficulty learning basic life skills. He's nonverbal, so he doesn't talk. So there's a lot of things he needed to do that I don't think the school district was providing. So I just decided that it really wasn't worth working and making more money if my son couldn't have basic life skills. So I just quit my job and took care of him 100% of the time. And so I had written all these songs to help him get to sleep. I said, I want to have these songs for him for later in his life. And so what I did is I just found a producer and went to Nashville, and kind of one thing led to the other, and it kind of snowballed into the video, which is on YouTube, called for the song "Baby I Try for You," which has almost got 900,000, almost 1 million views now. And so we recorded the song, and then we did the video. And the special thing about the video is the video actually incorporates American Sign Language in the video. So instead of having typical videos have the story, and then they have the band with the backup singers. Instead of backup singers, I used backup signers to sign the song.
Oh, wow.
Sign language. So
that is awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool video.
Very cool. So for everybody listening, go to YouTube and bring it over the 1 million mark, and it is called "Baby I Try for You." Now the album, the CD is called "This Time," and there's a song also called "This Time." So that's the title track. Is "Baby I Try for You"? Is that for Timmy?
Yeah, that's actually the song I wrote for "Baby I Try for You" is really, since he couldn't talk. My wife, when he was little, he was like, if he could just talk and if he could just say "I love you," and so the song is from his perspective, telling his mom that he loves her.
Wow!
Oh, wow!
Wow!
You don't really like to tell people with the Genesis song, because a lot of people say, "Oh, it means a lot to me." It means, I have my Tim Sweeney Music Facebook site where I have 20-some thousand fans, and a lot of people come there and say, "Well, it meant a lot to me because it's my spouse or my relative I lost, or my husband's overseas at Afghanistan or whatever." So I mean, it does. It's a little bit generic, so it actually deals with communication issues between people, but from my perspective, the song was actually written as my son's voice to tell his mom that he loved her.
How could you give up such a monetarily lucrative career to spend 100% of your time with your son when you would have to make sure that you would have some kind of income coming in every day to take care of him, because you yourself have a wonderful backstory about growing up in poverty?
Well, yeah, when you grow up in poverty, you don't worry about poverty as much as if you grow up with money and you worry what you don't have. I mean, if I had to go back and live the way I lived when I was in high school and not have anything to eat or have to work for a sandwich or something, that's not bad. But I mean, you got to weigh your perspectives on things. I mean, and I was blessed because I was, it's like one thing I tell people is like I was a pretty smart kid. But I really didn't do anything to get smart. I wasn't like, it was like God-given more than anything else. So I said, look, don't reward me for being smart for something I didn't do, and don't punish my child for not being as smart for something he didn't do. And but it's like I laugh when I was in Nashville. We were talking one time having lunch, and I said, I'm the only person that came to Nashville to actually lose $1 million as opposed to make $1 million.
Gee.
Oh, wow. That must have been was that a cool experience, just going to Nashville and hooking up? What is, in addition to having a great voice, do you play a musical instrument?
Well, I was because I didn't really, when I was making the album, think it would be an album. I was just making it to have it. And but I wanted to do it right, and I was blessed enough to have some financial wherewithal to be able to do it, and I wanted my son to have these songs for the rest of his life. And so it's interesting when you approach it like that in Nashville, because there's so many great musicians in Nashville, and it's just a great experience in just dealing with all the super talented people that are there. and it was just a real fun experience.
Did your son go with you sometimes to be part of the recording experience?
No, but the interesting thing about my son is when I do actually, what people don't understand is the process of recording isn't just you go and show up and sing and everything goes well. It's a longer process. You have to get the music tracks down, and you bring in various musicians, and sometimes you track the music all together. Sometimes you track it instrument by instrument. Sometimes you have people go in and sing demos, and then you have to practice what you're doing and figure out what your vocal arrangement's going to be and your background vocals are going to be, and it's a great process. So I'd practice at home, and the good thing about my son is he has got this innate ability to pick hit songs.
Wow.
I think because when it's a great song, not only my songs but other songs come on the radio, if it's a good song, he'll start rocking with it. And if it's a bad song, he'll just look at you like, "What are you doing?"
Oh my!
Oh, really? Okay. So every A&R person in the business is going to call you now, and your son is going to make you gazillion dollars because every person who's looking for the next hit song is going to hire him to be listening.
Yeah.
He's like the Clive Davis of country music.
Yes,
Wow.
yes, but maybe it's more. I'm looking at the video right now. I don't have the sound on, and I'm watching you sing, and I can see the actors that are portraying the scenes. Well, I have a question about the background home movie. Is that you, or is that?
That's me and Timmy the night I wrote the song.
Oh wow! So that was a long time ago. If he's 21 now.
Yeah, he was. I think he was 4. I actually never wrote the song down when I wrote it. I mean, I was just sing these songs, and came up in my. I had this idea that if they were good songs, I'd remember them, and that works 90% of the time. I had one song that I wrote. I go, I wish I could remember that song because it was pretty good. But then it took me few years before I actually wrote the lyrics down, but that song actually wrote itself in like 30 minutes. 20 minutes. It just kind of came out.
Wow. I'm loving your story. There's so many different aspects to this story that I want to make sure we talk about on the air to be fair in the interview. Can I play another song off of this list here for the listeners? And tell me which one I should play. What is Double Wide about? Wow. Is that about a trailer?
Double Wide was a tongue-in-cheek song. It is about a trailer. It's a fun song. And it's a very popular song with my fans. So you can actually play a little bit. It's
all right. Let me play that.
It's a song.
All right. Now, I have a question for you. Could you hear the music when I was playing it over the air?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I wasn't sure if this board was hooked up that way. All right. This is Tim Sweeney. I want to make sure we play the one that's the title song also. This time, I think it's called. But this one is Double Wide. It's about a double wide. Double-wide trailer, not a double-wide human.
Oh, good.
Here we go.
Right.
I think. Do I have to click it twice? Oh, here it goes. Wait a second. I think two things are going at once there. How did that happen? Oh, I know why. Because I got the video going too. All right, let me stop the video. All right. Now let's go back. You would think I know how to do this radio gig. Here we go. Let me try it again.
The only thing I found on the south side of town was a double-wide trailer park. Sleeping in a double wide, sleeping in a double wide. If the trailers are rocking, then don't come a knocking, 'cause I'm sleeping in a double wide.
Man, if you can rock a double wide, you're good.
Yeah.
Met some girls on Match.com. I was looking for a date that night, but I only got a call from mine. Scamming chicks down by the college, but my rap must have missed the mark. So I'm heading back down to a country barn town by the double-wide trailer park. Sleeping in a double-wide, sleeping in a double-wide. If the trailers are rocking, then don't come a-knocking, 'cause I'm sleeping in a double-wide.
You're not sleeping if it's rocking, by the way.
I like pretty city girls who stare in the mirror all night. But I like the ones with tons of fun, 'cause I'm sleeping in a double-wide.
Wow, that's awesome. Are you all the vocals right there, Tim?
No, there's professional background vocalists in there that have different layers that actually make the sound.
Okay, here's my. I know singers hate this, and so I apologize in advance. But when you hear somebody for the first time, you inevitably compare them to others. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say you are a cross between Elvis, B.J. Thomas, and Bertie Higgins.
There you go. 3 great ones.
Yeah, I don't know if you like that or not like that, but that's what I hear.
No, I had like an Elvis song in there because growing up I listened to Elvis a lot, and that song was Soul Patrol. It's got a big Elvis vibe in it. And I tried to make this whole CD so it wasn't like as a layman who listens to music, you want CDs that you can play and hear every song, and you don't like necessarily have them all the same instrumentation, all sound alike. And so I made it so that they didn't like all sound alike, and there's a lot of variation and a little bit of 90s country, a little bit of more current pop rock country and stuff like that. So it would make the whole CD listenable, so you could listen to the whole CD.
Oh man, you know what? You are so good. I'm guessing that there's probably 30, 40 more songs that you could have put on there. So in other words, there was some you didn't put on there because you didn't think they made the cut. But I bet you, for us as listeners, I bet you we would love to hear them.
Yeah, I had a whole drawer full of them. You can imagine I wrote them during putting Timmy to sleep for years.
So we can get the music on iTunes. I know that.
Yeah, it's available on iTunes. The CD isn't out for distribution yet. Although I've been actually, one of the things I've done is because my son has disability. Is like my Facebook will love the song, and I'll just send them a CD.
Oh!
You gotta buy groceries. You gotta do something.
Yes, you do.
I know, but it's just a thing I do. It's not like everybody, but people write in and they tell me a story. See, growing up poor, you realize something that a lot of people don't realize is I was at the point where I would like music and I'd listen to the radio, and radio is such a great thing because you get so much entertainment value, like your guys' show, and it's really for free, and so you have to actually support the sponsors and stuff.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
yes.
but so I was like, so growing up, I realized that, and people, would come to my Facebook site. Some people say, "Hey, I'm saving up. I'm going to save up for your CD." And I said, "Look, I understand that." I was like the point where, the records cost 99 cents, and I'd actually in high school save up my money so I could get a 45 or something.
Right.
And so, certain people that come, I have promotions on my site that give the CDs away, so I use that as a promotional device.
Well, you are as nice as your music.
I tell people it's a lot cheaper to buy it on iTunes, and you can have it a lot longer. I mean, it's really iTunes is a great thing.
This is what I'm hearing is like we broadcast from a mall. Is there a music store even in the mall anymore?
Oh, yes, there is.
Do they sell CDs?
Oh, yes, they do.
Oh, they do. See,
Yeah.
I was thinking CDs were like going away, and everybody was doing the download stuff.
Yeah, they sell CDs.
I don't know what the
DVDs.
numbers are. I mean, do you know, Tim? I mean, are more people doing downloads or CDs?
More people do downloads than CDs, except in country music. There's still, there's like if you look at my 20-some thousand plus, fans on Facebook, most of them are from small towns across the United States that you haven't heard of, and most of those people actually like CDs because they can put it in their truck, they can give it to their friend, things like that. And some people to this day still can't afford computers.
Right. Yeah.
And so you got to remember that a computer, even the cheapest computers, cost $300 or $400, and the CD is at players in your truck and you have it in your home, and it's a lot cheaper, and so you can carry those CDs. So CDs haven't really gone away.
By the way, I tried to make a joke when I was listening to Double Wide, and I don't know if you heard me. If you're rocking a double wide, you're good.
Yeah.
The fun thing about
you got a happy woman if you can rock that double.
Do you? Go ahead.
People ask me all the time what that song's about, and it's a funny story because it's a friend of mine who was also a lawyer, and his house burned down, and so he temporarily lived in a double wide, and we played cards together, and it was overlooking the beach, so it's actually a very good view. But he's like, we were always talking about it, and it took him years to get like permits to rebuild his house and process. And so when at the poker game, we always used to tease him about his double wide by the beach, and he used to go, "Hey, you know what? If the trailers are rocking, don't come and knock." And we laughed. I said, "Hey, that's a good idea for a song at night."
Yeah. Just on a serious note, does your son talk at all, Timmy?
No, my son's nonverbal.
Not nonverbal, but does he understand sign language? Is that why you did the sign language in the video?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't understand sign language because the part of your brain which has symbolic speech, that part in his brain doesn't operate. So I taught him kind of it's a different type. Sign language is symbolic speech, but I taught him a taking type of speech. So, like, if he's hungry, he'll go to a certain place. Like, if he's thirsty, he'll go to the bring me to the refrigerator. If he's hungry, he'll bring me to the cabinet, things like that. But the story about how the sign language got in there was interesting, because when I was doing the album, I came home, my son said, "Hey, look at this funny thing on YouTube." And this Sunday afternoon, I started looking on YouTube, and I saw all these American Sign Language interpretations of videos, and realized that the deaf community or the hearing impaired community really like music videos and music in their and so I was looking at these, and as I saw some of these, they were so artistic and beautiful. I thought, wow, as a tribute to my son, part of that song as a refrain is "I can't talk to you," because my son can't talk, and I thought that would be cool to marry those two together. And it'll give a little bit of kudos to the deaf community and their love of music. And so one thing people don't know is that the director I found to do that job, to marry those two together kind of seamlessly, is actually a director who happens to be deaf, Jules Dameron.
Huh.
And actually the sound editor of the video was also deaf. And it's interesting because he matched up the sound and the video by sound waves, by visual sound waves, and it was a very cool thing. And half the actors are also happen to be deaf in there. And it's just the idea that I've learned from my son is that don't try to judge people on what they can't do. Judge them on what they can do.
Oh, wow.
And when you and I meet on the street, you might say, "Hey, you don't have any pre-existing thoughts about what I can't do or can do." So you talk to me and you say, "Oh, okay, what do you do?" You say, "I'm a lawyer, accountant, or a doctor, or I work at a coal mine." And you're like, "And what's your interest?" And you say, "Oh, that's cool if that guy has all these interests." But there's 100 things that you and I can't do that we never even think about when we meet each other. When you meet somebody with a disability, the first thing you think of and you judge them by is what they can't do. And so part of me put that in there to show people that you really should judge people from what they can do, not what they can't do.
Do you think you'll be going on tour with the music and the songs just to bring awareness to Down syndrome and autism? Because there are so many people out there that when they have their children born or diagnosed with Down syndrome and or autism, they just don't have anywhere to turn to. They just are leading themselves into a dead end until they realize that there are support groups out there and projects such as yours.
Yeah, the support groups are very important. When my son was born, we attended a lot of support groups, and I think one of the issues people always wonder is when their child that's born with a disability is, there's a little bit of this, why did this happen? Why to me? What's this going to mean? Is it a long-term commitment? But just to tell people, it's like, children in general are a lot of work. I have another son who, has no disability. He's a lot more difficult to deal with than Timmy.
Is he older or younger?
No, he's younger. He's 2 years younger. And he's a good kid, but I'm just saying, you have challenges with every child. The thing about disabled children, or children that have some type of disability, happen to have a disability, is that there is a lot, if you keep your mind open, there's a lot you can learn from them, and there's a lot of real benefits. But you're right. When you first have a child and you're just surprised that they have a disability, it's really how you think and how people deal with you. It's like when I had my son, and you'd go back to work. People didn't know how to deal with you, and the only thing I wanted people to do, and people to know if they're listening, is that if some person has a child with a disability, the one thing that people want to hear when you find out is, "Congratulations, you had a child."
Yeah, really.
And that's what you miss, because you go back and people go like, "Geez, I'm sorry." And if you think about it, they're sorry, and it's understandable. They're sorry that your son had a disability, but all you get from people around you is, "Hey, I'm sorry this happened to you. This bad thing that happened," as opposed to what you expect when you have a child is congratulations. And so if I told one people that, it's like, say, "I understand it's going to be difficult, but really congratulations. It's going to be a great kid for and provide you a lot of joy.
Oh, yeah. And I love that you're saying that. I think our experience, we've done some work with the autistic school in town. And of course, I mentioned our friend who has Down syndrome. And the one thing that I'm always appalled at, and I guess this is controversial and takes us away from talking about your music, which I want to make sure to get back to. But when you hear about science that might enable a mom to abort a child because they can see that it's going to be born with Down syndrome, I often think, there must have been a reason why God wanted that child to be born with Down syndrome. There must be some kind of a purpose that serves us as a community. I mean, we must need that in our community, otherwise they wouldn't be born. I mean, that's...
Well, and you never know. There's interesting things. Like when I was poor, like I said, when I was in like 14 or 15, I was a freshman in high school, and I remember I didn't have a lot of money one day, and I went and I said I had like $3. I remember it was like $2 or $3, and I told my brother who was driving us around. I said, "Look, it's for my Christmas." I said, "Let's go get some candy canes and take them to kids in the hospital." And so that's what we did, and we went up in Peoria, Illinois, to St. Francis Hospital, and we just got off on this random floor, and we were going, to these. It was a ward, and that ward was for what they at the time said was mongoloid children, which is the reference they used to use for Down syndrome,
right, right,
and who had some kind of injuries. And we were sort of handed candy canes, and we got thrown out when we went into the first room. The interesting thing is, I live in Los Angeles, and my wife and I are both in Peoria. When my son was born, he was born in the very room that I was thrown out of.
Oh, wow.
Gosh.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So you never know.
Wow. Who knew?
Yeah.
You are awesome. And I thought that before hearing you talk. And now that I know the soul of you, or a little bit of it anyway, I'm even more impressed, Tim. And I'm not just saying that. I just really like what you're saying. And I love the way you sound in your music. Can I play this time just real quickly?
Sure.
And we'll come back. I don't want to end with this. I just want to listen a little bit, let the listeners hear it, and then we'll give the information so the listeners can perhaps download some of the music or buy a CD. Here's This Time. This is a song from Tim. Here it is. Is that what? That's the wrong song.
That's make love on the run.
Make love on the run. Well, how come I clicked
Oh, I
this
like
time?
that title. That's a challenge.
All right, let me try it again. Tell me if I got the right one here. Okay, it's counting down. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, here we go.
Can't work this damn job for the rest of my life, pushing paper in an office or two, or punching my time at the dirty coal mine. I'm gonna do what I wanna do. Told my buddy Jim it's the end of the line. I'm not waiting till I'm too old to say for a lousy gold watch or a party goodbye. I'm gonna be what I wanna be. I'm gonna do what I wanna do. I'm gonna be what I wanna be. No more kissing their shoes and no more paying my dues. This time it's gonna be about me. This time it's gonna be about me. This time it's gonna be about me. This time it's gonna be about. This time it's gonna be about me. Packed up my clothes and I sold my old car. Didn't take me but a minute or two. Bought some beer at the bar and a beat up guitar. I'm gonna do what I wanna do. Hitchhiked all day, took a bus and a train to Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. My friends think it's lame, even say I'm insane. I'm gonna be what I wanna be. I'm gonna do what I wanna do. I'm gonna be what I wanna be. No more kissing their shoes and no more paying my dues. This time it's gonna be about me.
Oh man, it's awesome. I know it's a talk show. We gotta.
Wow.
We want to listen to music. We're gonna change the format right now.
You got to go on Letterman.
We have here an Opry. It's called the Orange Blossom Opry, and they have some awesome talent that comes down in spite of the fact that it's a real small area here. And so maybe one day you'll come down here.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That must have been a blast for you to play with those musicians. There's some really good stuff going on there. But they had something good to work with. I'm sure they've get their share of doozies too.
Oh yeah.
People coming in like yourself who are not talented as you are. Tim Sweeney, what a joy it's been to chat with you. Tim spells his last name Sweeney for those looking him up. Go to timsweeneymusic.com and you'll see the website I was playing the music from. And you can also find his music on iTunes. And what else should we tell the listeners?
Well, it's on iTunes. It's on all digital formats and on Amazon. It's available in the UK, worldwide on iTunes. So, got a lot of fans from the UK and Australia, and even Canada. Canada's a big country music bastion, really.
I bet it is.
It's a fun album. There's some serious songs on it. There's some love songs. There's some sad songs. It's just it's kind of like life's experiences.
Yeah, there you go. Wow, good for you. Well, hopefully we hear more from you. If you're in Central Florida, definitely come by. We do a broadcast from the mall, so you'll have a little bit of an audience outside the window.
Will do.
And of course, we'll have the camera on you as well. But anyway, good luck with everything you're doing. And you've been an inspiration in so many different ways, Tim. And you're definitely welcome back anytime.
Thank you, Larry. Thanks, Robin.
We will take a little break, and we'll be right back.
We're listening to WOCA News Talk 1370, Ocala's source for what's happening in today's hottest, up-to-date news and topics.
If you haven't been downtown lately, then you haven't been to the all-new Corkscrew, a new place to make wine and now beer. Come check out the handcrafted wine and beer. Sit out on